Welcome to Teatro Absurdo with Huilo Marvavilla, brought to you by Jaguar Bridge Productions and The Great Mystery. Well, hello there, podcasters. Welcome to Teatro Absurdo. I'm Willow Marvavilla, and this is Series 3. Welcome aboard to that which is ludicrous, preposterous, crazy, and, if you're lucky, dazzling. And we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teatro Absurdo, where we discuss everything that's absurd, which is everything. And this is the special series where we're discussing the Jaguar portal paintings and the destruction of them, and then the regeneration of them, and the deep symbolism, the mystery and the intrigue of what could have destroyed them, and the excitement for the new paintings, the new visions that are coming to a gallery near you, and especially in New York City in October. So here we go. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Willow, in case you didn't figure that out a long time ago. And remember to like and subscribe. I hate to say that, and I love to say that because why not? I mean, the crazy things we subscribe to and like. I mean, you can like chocolate cake or you can like me on your algorithmic blah, 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 okay? So in this episode, it's actually, ironically, the painting's right here, which is cool if you're on Zoom. Or not, you're on Zoom. This is being recorded on Zoom. No promo there, but it does a pretty good job for me. And so this is a painting that is not destroyed. So that's kind of fun. It survived because somebody bought it soon enough. So if you want to keep the portal paintings from being destroyed, you must buy one and save it before I disappear too. And you have one more chance. I mean, I'm doing one more cycle of 30 paintings. After that, who knows? I need some coin, you know? So here we go. This is a really interesting painting. This is owned by a dear friend of mine from, I don't know, 500 years. And she lives in Ohio and has it. So she says that she's taking even better care of it because so many have been destroyed. So anyway, so let's dive into the symbolism on this. And I hope those of you that listened to the last podcast have gone out into the world and dealt with chromophobia, the fear of color in your universe and world, and help make this world a better place, and are beginning to slowly to look at art a little more mysteriously. Okay, come on, yeah, it's fun. You don't need drugs, just look at my art. I took them for you. Okay, all right, plant medicines. I don't do drugs. None of those chemical powders. Not less and less sugar. It's America's cocaine. I digress. So anyway, in this painting, my dears, again, guess what? We have a jaguar. Jaguar in the center, or it could just be a black cat. For capturing a jaguar, actually their ears are not these perky things up like a cat. They're kind of more at the level of the top of the head, which is always very interesting, when you're learning perception or perspective and perspective in painting versus sculpture and things like that. Like, I digress, but art techniques, right? In sculpting, it was so easy for me to, when I would sculpt a head, a more traditional head, human. I would also lips, but lips don't do that unless we're blowing or making an expression. The rested lip is, is straight down from the nose. And maybe you might have a pouty lower lip, but the upper lip is, or, God forbid, injections, Botox. I don't know what lipsticks people wear these days, or why there's this emphasis to lips like a fish. Maybe people are wanting to connect to some ancestral DNA when we were all fishes in the sea and they missed their big fishy lips. I mean, I don't really find that, it's so sad. No, it's not sad. I mean, we have options, right? That's what Dolly Parton says. So you have options, you got the cash, make your lips bigger, you know? So then there's the conundrum, as I was saying, of, a jaguar, that when you are drawing them or sketching them. So as I was saying, the peculiarities of finding perspective. And so in this painting, there's a jaguar cat being. And, the cute thing about this is the cat is at the lower portion of the painting. Again, if you want to see these works, go to my website, go to the YouTube video, figure it out, or just hallucinate along with us who are listening only. So the cat is looking straight out of the painting, and either in an element of surprise, interest, intrigue on some level, but she ain't in resting pose or child's pose. So that said, the fish is watching. Did I say the fish is watching? Oh my God. Real. So the cat, the jaguar, is watching two fish in front of it, and they are swimming in opposite directions, one to the right, one to the left. And the fish also look like they have eyes on the side of their bodies. Okay, so that could be camouflage. Fish can do amazing things with how their patterns are. Or it could just be another set of eyes in the painting. There's a lot of eyes in this painting, man. I was eye happy. Me. Yeah, I think it was, starting to work into visionary art. And I'm not going to mention any names, but we all have inspiration and different artists that inspire, that we glean from. I don't think there's a single original artist out there except for the people that did maybe the original petroglyphs. And maybe they were inspired by aliens. So, puff, puff, I don't want to hear it. And honestly, I'm going to digress, but my absurdity today is I never really liked it when people would compare my art to other artists, even if they were super famous, like Dali or Picasso or, the Boy Club. Because it's not fair, because sometimes I have to say that, as many people think artists should know every other famous artist and their technique and stuff like that. And honestly, I did not study academically art. I got probably a normal art history at a college level of different artists that inspired different things, revolutions, techniques, whatever. But so anyway, that said, there's a lot of eyes in these paintings, and there's eyes on the fish, and the jaguar cat being is staring either out beyond the fish in front of him or her, or staring at the fish and confused. They're swimming in two different directions, which is, how many of you are Pisces out there? The symbol of Pisces. It's not a symbol of Christianity. I'm sorry, people. And so, swimming, I think that to me would be the story of the contrary mind, how you can have contrary ideas in the same moment. Like I hate this and I like this, and I want this and I don't want this. Humans are very good at that. We don't want war, but we're always worrying. We don't want climate change and pollution, yet we're always contributing to it, and that goes into the whole entitlement realm, which I'm not going to discuss because I live the same thing. If you're flying, you're a part of it. If you're going to bougie yoga and spiritual retreats in other countries, it's a type of colonialism. So, I'm going to digress one other thing because that's the absurdity I can do, because this is Jaguar magic, is, I think a lot about Costa Rica and, how certain of these paintings got destroyed and what comes into someone that breaks all the rules of coping and pursuit of justice and all these things, and does very violent acts. So I want to just give a heads up that, talk about the entitlement and my entitlement of using petroleum-based paints out the wazoo. I mean, God, I snort them because the colors are so fabulous. But I have permission because I'm an artiste doing good things. I digress, but oh my God, you see what I'm saying. But my friend in Costa Rica wrote me, and so I wonder, like, we'll get more and more into this every episode, like, what could have possibly been behind destroying these paintings? And rage and anger and confusion and psychology and mental illness, societal illness, and entitlement. And so I just want to give a shout out that I got a message from a friend of mine in Costa Rica who's really been a part of the whole judicial recovery process, at least probably the only one of my friendship base, and even you out there who is trying to understand what the hell is going on. We're trying to do noble things through environmental recovery and ecotourism and all these things, and it is just bitch slapping us to death because we will not look at the shadow side. Not that shadow is good or bad or horrible, yet there are consequences. And here's a very small consequences, and why I do these paintings and have these podcasts is to illuminate, to expose, to enliven, to challenge, to cry out, like the film that we're wanting to support, Cries of a Jaguar, is that my friend calls me, sends me a message and says he grows with his family on the border of Panama and Costa Rica. These are small farmers. These aren't corporate farmers. These are probably the farmers that most of the bodegas, not the Trump fucking bodegas in New York, the little mom and pop stores and all over Latin America that sell a little bit of produce, all of them. And so my friend, they grow mostly, I think, cucumbers, lettuces, and cilantro, and probably some other things, some beans. But they try to sell them, and it's hard to do through the intermediary because it's very corrupt in Costa Rica and charges the farmer an exorbitant fee to sell product to the larger supermarket chains, right? This is a problem in the United States. Everywhere right now, the producers are being hurt. But he was writing to me that 40 kilos of pepinos, which is cucumbers. And I don't always know the kilo to pound ratio, but it's kind of 2 for 1 almost. So I was like, okay, that's about 80 pounds of cucumbers. That's a lot. I mean, cucumbers probably, I don't know, you figure it out. And he was like, we only got 18,000 colones, which right now the cologne is very strong. but it means nothing to the Costa Ricans. It means a lot to the Costa Ricans and the government and the businesses who are hoarding dollars. They're the only ones that are benefiting from that. But for the locals, and I was like, so basically he got for 80 pounds of cucumbers, about the equivalent of $36. And that's on whatever, the exchange rate is of the day. But he said, the comment that came after that was, he says, no matter what we do, what we grow, we're always losing. And the poor guy, he doesn't have any internet. He can't afford it. They keep cutting him off. So I just want to please the absurdity and look into these paintings. Who too can change the way we respond in this world, with a little more love and empathy, not just new age love and light. Is that probably those cucumbers are the ones people are eating at their bougie $5,000 a week dance and yoga and ayahuasca retreats and whatever, surf retreats up in the tourist over tourism spots of Costa Rica and stuff, which are killing all the animals. So you can't do both. We've got to figure this out. Okay, that was my huff and puff absurdity. So let's go back into the beauty behind me. Look into my eyes, look into the eyes of this painting, and let's discuss, children, the symbolism. So we have the fish. So the fish are swimming in two directions, contrary energy. Fish have lots of symbolism. Look it up, kids. But they're cool creatures. There's a spiral, so that suggests energy moving. It's either wafting out or pulling you in. So you could look at even the numbers, numerology. The 6, even when we draw it, what does it do? Spirals and pulls you in, right? Or the 9, drawing it out, spiraling out. So these are very, very interesting nuances, all right? A 9, it could be a symbol of bringing something to fruition. 6, perhaps a number of bringing things into balance, who knows? So at the center of the spiral in this painting is a lotus flower, my version of a lotus flower. 5-petaled flowers, often symbolic to Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. And it is really trippy. If you walk around in nature, there are a lot of 5s with flowers. It's very cool. So I don't have a fancy podcast studio with all the equipment, and the mics and the covers and the socks and the soundproof walls and I don't know, the filters and everything. So you're going to hear really cool in the moment background noise, like packages being delivered, maybe a fan. And now you're going to hear someone who I think is selling tortillas, and they come by twice a day. I've never tasted them because I make my own tortillas or buy them because whatever. So in this painting, I'm really digressing on this one, but we're having fun. It's absurd theater, right? There are a couple of hummingbirds, again, so swimming in multiple directions. They were the messengers of the gods, bring us to the nectar of the gods. So the nectar of the gods could be anything. It could be sweet. It could be something that illumines after we drink it. It's, I find it fascinating that in the physiology, hummingbirds are able to see colors that we can't even see. So again, chromophobia, So I would always wonder, because hummingbirds are attracted to vibration of color. So if you want to attract sweetness, things that like sweetness, wear some color. I love New York, darling, and my goddess, I love black. But and black is a beautiful color. It's a symbol of the void, and it's a symbol of all possibilities, and it's all those sorts of things. So interestingly enough, in this painting, the hummingbirds are going to the center of the lotus flower at the center of the spiral in the painting. In the wings or the spirals of the spiral, how do you say that? What are the spirals of the spiral? I like wings. Well, that'll do. Our eyes. And so they're just flying around. So I think that's just, notion about there are so many ways to see something from so many different angles. You can look at the projectile vomit of, social media and manipulative structures, information structures, puking their visions at us so that we no longer even have a self-image of ourself or any self-thought. It's all generated by something else. Or you can turn the mirror in. What do I see? And I think this is my pretense as an artist, is inviting you, the participant, to what do you see in these works? What is invigorated within you from this painting? And that can change from day to day, week to week, year to year. So, if you're bored with that painting, I have friends of mine that they moved it to another wall in their house. I think eventually it'll probably end up in the shed, but, then they'll have fun when they look at the painting and go get their drill or their hammer. So interestingly enough, there's a new image in this painting. It'll probably appear in other ones, but in the upper right-hand corner of this painting I see what it is. It's the tip of the spiral. So again, the spiral coming in, there's a point into the lotus flower. And then as the spiral goes out, it goes out into affinity with the head of a plumed serpent. So the flying serpent is, some people might project onto me it's appropriated. Not really. I think it's an interesting vision. It's an interesting idea. The biblical thing of you shall be put down, you snake, to crawl upon the earth. It's like, even the Bible, were snakes able to fly? Were humans able to fly? We kind of have scapulas, which could have been wings, right? I know I fly in my dreams a lot. So that snake is going out and it has an egg in its mouth. So I believe that's Ouroboros, which I'd like to look up again and get a better description of that, but look it up yourself, class. There'll be an exam next week. And I believe in that. It's hard for me to see everything, is the symbol of the Chai, the Hebrew glyph for life. So it's generating life from, the lotus soul flower. So there you have, I think this one is called the Visionary or the Jaguar Seeing. It was a fun painting. I'm glad it lives. If you're lucky, you might be able to travel to Ohio and get a sneak preview of it in the flesh. And we are going to sign off. I wish everybody a fantastic next cycle. Between these podcasts, please like, subscribe, love. Remember, the new paintings will be coming to you in New York first and then other cities. The dates are at the end of this podcast in October. And this will be a fundraiser for the film Cries of a Jaguar. And I will be showing the film poster, which is a really interesting piece. I would certainly go see that film in a second. So many, many blessings, enjoy, and until next time, bye-bye. And that was it, my dear friends. Teatro Absurdo Series 3, brought to you by Jaguar Bridge Productions, angels, guardians, guides, and perhaps a few demons, if you're lucky, from the underworld. So tune in to us on all the major social circuits around the universe. Bye-bye.